The next product we're going to review today is AutoLeadStar's CDXP. That's the Customer Data Experience Platform. You should know that the topic of CDPs is growing in importance this year as dealers are looking to reduce marketing waste, to create unified customer messaging, and to understand the cadence and frequency of which communications are sent and responded to by their customers. And so you'll see this year a rise of platforms looking to do just that, create a single source of truth for each customer that the dealer owns. And AutoLeadStar, who was once known as a marketing automation partner for dealers, is now moving into the CDP space by expanding their data sets with customer data from their data lakes, data from the CRM, and a growing list of integrations to create a more complete history of all the ways in which consumers interact with the dealership to update a master customer record. And then the X in CDXP is being able to execute marketing campaigns against that data so that more efficient advertising can be achieved from the dealer and higher match rates when those data audiences are being activated on platforms like Google or Facebook. So, as we look into this growing area of CDPs, and in this case, a CDXP, let's take a look at the video overview the team at AutoLeadStar presented to the AWA Review Committee.
Hey everyone, I'm going to give you an overview of AutoLeadStar's customer data and experience platform. If you look at the market right now, I think we can all agree that we have a lot of our data sitting in silos. Now, whether that's with a particular vendor and advertising, your CRM, your website, insert X vendor, basically what we want to do here is that we want to create a better ecosystem. And if you look at what happens right now when all of your data sits in these silos, is that you're delivering a disjointed customer experience to your consumers. And that's what our customer data experience platform really solves. And to boil it down into three things, what we focus on is identity resolution, which basically unifies your users across and gives you a single view of your customer. Once we can do that, then we basically look at all of your first-party data, and then we synthesize this data into different audiences of which basically what the customer has done and or where they fall, whether it's lease maturity, finance maturity, and whatnot. And then the most powerful part about this is activation. So once we can do all of that, then we can activate the data based off of the signals. And how we do this, and to boil it down, is that what AutoLeadStar has done is we built the data layer that sits between your website, your CRM, and your digital advertising. And that is a really powerful component in terms of what we can do. Instead of just being a data company, we can also do the activation on the marketing component side. So, when we talk to our dealers, basically what we see is that they're using a very minimal amount of their first-party data. Oftentimes, because it's difficult for them to use data at scale. The other part is that, pulling that out and then activating the data is also challenging as well. So that is one of the problems that we solve. And, when we look at the underutilized audiences that we see in the CRM, is that there's a lot of underutilized audience, whether it's VDP activity, vehicle acquisition, lease finance maturities, and whatnot. Now what we can focus on, because we can unlock that with our data layer, is that we can automate all of the audiences. So we'll use 100% of your first party data, and that allows us to actually go in and automate the audiences and do this continuously versus currently what most people are doing is that they're doing it ad hoc. And then what this allows us to do is to actually remove the friction in terms of what the customers are seeing. And now when we're delivering content to them, it's much more relevant to the actual consumer because we know who they are, we know what they bought, what they're browsing, and what they didn't buy. And then we can literally solve marketing 101, which is basically creating a connection point between what we send them to actually what they are engaging on. And we can solve one-to-one marketing because we are connected to the CRM. And this allows us to actually pull up the customer information and give the customer's name, as you can see on the screen, and also inject all their information into the contact forms that they're engaging with. And then when you talk about driving customers to your site, our ad platform is connected to that as well, which allows us to actually read signals and then do the ad delivery for both Google and social. And what this allows us to do is actually do true portfolio level spend. So now what we can do is that we can read the signals and push move your money around based off of how people are interacting with your ads and or the different campaigns, and move it from Google to social, social to Google, and all the campaigns subsequently underneath that, all done with our algorithm. So you don't need to wait until the 10th or the 15th or the 20th to meet with your company. We're literally updating this daily. And one of the key components here is that, as you talked about first party data, now we can actually automate all of the customer match campaigns. So now we're pushing those to Google and Facebook daily, which, historically, if you're working with a manual agency, is a very laborious task. And we all know that customer match campaigns on the digital advertising side convert the highest with the lowest amount of spend. So now that we can read the signals of everything that they're doing and how they're interacting with your ads and your emails and what VDPs you're looking at, now we can push relevant ad content to them in both channels, and automate customer match campaigns, which is a big solve on the manual side. And then when you talk about experience, a lot of the times the information is disconnected. So you can see here on the example, if I click on this 1,500 lease offer, when I get to the VDP, oftentimes this lease offer is often not there. But what we do is we have a partnership with our friends over at Fuse Auto Tech, and now we automate specials, which I know is often a contention point with dealerships and on their website. So we automate the specials with Fuse. We ingest all these offers as soon as they're published. It's ingested into our ad platform. So whenever they're changed, they're updated in the ad platform. And then when they click on it, our data layer is smart enough to recognize exactly what ad they clicked on, and it serves up the exact same offer and also any offers beyond that as well. So you're solving marketing connectivity. And we all know that most dealerships have inventory that is troubled. Not all inventory is created the same. And that's why we created Last Call, which is basically really focused on VIN-based advertising. So we're advertising specifically on troubled inventory. Now, whether that's done based off of low VDP traffic or days on lot or manually putting them in there, this is really where we want to focus to spend money on those troubled units in conjunction with doing your digital advertising and email and all that other stuff to really focus and try and get those units off the lot. Now, what this allows us to do, as I mentioned earlier, with the identity resolution, is really giving you one view of a customer because of our data layer, and we also have the activation component with digital advertising, on-site engagement, and email. Now we can see everything that the customer is doing. So we have one view of a customer. We can see their entire digital footprint, how they're interacting with ads, what they're looking at on your site. And then we can dictate the next action based off of how they interact. So it's not just directional, where oftentimes right now what you do is if you do digital advertising or email or whatnot, it's just what happened. Well, basically we look at what's happening, and that gives us the ability to then serve relevant messaging. Oftentimes dealers are spending less money because you're doing more targeted advertising. And I'll also note that we just opened up our API. So if you want to use our services or another vendor services, we have an open API where we can ingest their events into our platform. And if they're interested in that, they can go to integrations@AutoLeadStar.com, and they would have to be approved and they would have to actually have an API to send us the documentation. If you want to get even further down the funnel, now you can actually go in and splice the data of what is all the activity happening on my site, who is shopping, known and anonymous, and then drill down into individually, like show me all the shoppers interested in a VIN, show me all of my highest intent shoppers that have a shopper score 8 and above, and things of that nature. So you can really go in and cut the data. So it's a really powerful platform, and it allows you to actually leverage all of your first party data while connecting the dots between all of your digital touch points, whether it's digital advertising, on-site engagement, automated email, and automated audience generation. Thanks for showing up today, and looking forward to talking with everyone at ADA.
After watching that video, I hope you understand the potential power of creating a single source of truth, a CDP for your dealership or dealer group. Obviously, the larger the dealer group, the more potential savings and insights that you can have, as consumers likely are cross-shopping multiple stores. And that data is extremely valuable in creating the right context, the right cadence, and the right conversion of the customers in your portfolio. If you need some more information on the AutoLeadStar CDXP, just go to AutoLeadStar.com.